And now stand by for adventure.
3, 2, 1.
In the exciting story of the prehistoric present. The morning sun beamed down on the entrance of the cave home of Scratch, the world's only living caveman. Scratch, as you know, fell asleep several thousand years ago, and probably would have been sleeping yet. But the first atomic test explosion blew him right out of the past and into the present. And now, with his friends, Colonel Bleep and Little Squeak, the caveman's life is filled with exciting adventures, wonderful adventures, like the time Scratch smelled smoke and saw a fiery glow inside his cave. He dashed inside to find Squeak with a giant birthday cake, all aglow with candles, just for Scratch. The happy caveman jumped for joy and made a very special wish when he blew out all the candles. And then Scratch felt sad, and big tears dripped from his eyes, for he felt sure that his birthday wish could never, ever possibly come true. For Scratch had wished to return once again to his prehistoric past, to play again with Dimples, his lovable pet dinosaur. Yes, Scratch missed Dimples very much, and now he would never see her again. But to Colonel Bleep, nothing seems impossible, and so the spaceman's birthday gift to Scratch was a golden key. The key to Scratch's wish come true, for this was the key that operated Colonel Bleep's Atomic Time Transformer, that fantastic invention which made it possible to transport anything or anybody anywhere in time or space. Quickly, the caveman hopped aboard, and Bleep adjusted the time controls to allow Scratch to visit for 1 hour with Dimples back thousands of years in the past. Squeak turned the golden key as Scratch waved farewell. Then the whole contraption suddenly vanished as it raced backwards, carrying the caveman through time. Then suddenly, there he was, back home again with Mama Scratch, Papa Scratch, and Dimples. Dear old Dimples, Scratch's pet dinosaur. Meanwhile, back in the present, Bleep and Squeak watched the dials and signals of the Atomic Time Transformer as the minutes ticked by. The hand of the clock was rapidly approaching the time for Scratch's scheduled return. There's the signal. Now Bleep throws the reverse control switch. But Scratch is having such a wonderful time, he forgets to climb aboard, and the machine returns empty. Quickly, the Colonel sends it racing back, and again it returns, but this time with Dimples. Now Bleep is worried, for only enough atomic power remains in the machine for one more try. Scratch must come back this time, or he will be left forever in the past. Once again, Bleep throws the switch. And just in time, Scratch jumps aboard the atomic transport, and now he's really on his way back. But wait, the power's beginning to fade, and the years are clicking off slower and slower, until finally, the machine stops dead, somewhere in the past century. Poor Scratch is stuck back in the 1800s. Now he'll never get back. But wait, what's that strange noise? And that, it's getting louder and louder, closer and closer. But what can it be? Why, it's Scratch, riding back from the 19th century in an early automobile, towing the rundown atomic time transformer behind him. And so Scratch had a wonderful birthday. And now he's back with his friends again. you can just bet that no one else in the whole wide world ever got a pet dinosaur for a present. Yes, it's fun to dream about the past, but for real fun, there's no time like the present. And now, stand by for adventure.
3, 2, 1.
In the exciting story of Shadows of Suspicion. Bleep, Squeak, and Scratch spent many happy days at their home base on Earth, 00 Island. The Colonel kept busy with new experiments in his lab. Scratch spent many happy hours digging away in the garden, and Squeak played with his favorite toy, a little wooden puppet. Squeak loved this toy, perhaps because he himself was made of choice lumber. A block of delicate white pine for his head, and a board of sturdy oak for his body. Yes, little Squeak was really a wooden puppet, but few could have guessed that he was anything other than a real and very natural little boy. For he certainly was full of mischief like most real little boys, as his friends knew too well. Bleep still recalls the shock of dashing about for almost an hour, dodging what he believed to be flashing meteorites, only to discover later that little Squeak had slipped a handful of fireflies into the Colonel's helmet, just for fun. Another time, Bleep awoke from a sound sleep to find himself covered with green and yellow spots, a sure sign of Futurian frog pox. But little Squeak knew that the colorful dots on the spaceman's helmet were just dabs of paint, for the puppet had put them there himself, just for fun. But it was poor Scratch, the good-natured caveman, who suffered most from this puppet trickery. More than once, his trusty wooden club had been nailed to the floor. And who can recall how many times a scrumptious coconut pie had a hidden balloon inside, just waiting for poor Scratch's knife or fork. Squeak's favorite prank, however, was making shadow pictures on the wall by holding his fingers in front of a bright candle. He would create the shadow of a wolf, then signal for help, and Scratch would dash to the rescue, only to find the puppet rocking with laughter at his joke. The caveman had been fooled by Squeak's shadow pictures of a giant crab, a monstrous crocodile, and a ferocious ostrich. At last, Scratch had vowed never to be tricked again. Then, one day, it happened. Bleep had blasted off for a closer look at a storm cloud approaching the island. Scratch was inside his cave, carving a new wooden club, and Squeak was fishing in the brook by the waterfall. At the first raindrop, Squeak dashed for the nearby shelter of Scratch's cave. Now, no one had noticed that a giant tropical spider had just spun its huge web across the cave entrance, and poor Squeak ran smack into this deadly trap. Scratch looked towards the doorway to see the puppet snared in the giant web, but as he watched, the stormy sky outside made his poor struggling friend look like just another of Squeak's own shadow tricks, and Scratch returned to his club carving, determined not to be fooled again, and never dreaming that his little friend was really in trouble this time. Poor Squeak shook with terror as the giant spider appeared, ready to devour him. It would be all over in a flash. And it was, but the flash was from a powerful bolt of Bleep's atomic energy. Yes, the Colonel had returned just in time to save the puppet. And so a very frightened Squeak, now safe in the arms of his friends, promised faithfully never to call for help unless he was in honest-to-goodness real trouble. For now he knows that a foolish trick can sometimes cost a life.